get this on that San Francisco train tonight.
Another minute, and you'd have been too late. I ain't never gonna get caught up.
You keep trying, you hear? Colonel Ashby.
I didn't kill him.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Good morning. You ready to go back to work now? Barley's heading out. Alfalfa's ready to be cut. 16 colts just waiting to be broke. I do hope you can spare us a few moments of your time.
Well, I'm ready. I'd sooner clean out the stables than testify at that inquest anymore.
Then it's all over.
They brought in an indictment of first-degree murder last night. It's all over but the hanging.
Corby Kyles for Colonel Ashby. One of the most despicable men in our community, taken in exchange for one of the most charitable, beloved men. Not a very fair exchange.
If I had my way, I'd kick Jake Kyles and all three of his sons clean out of this valley. That bunch is worse than a wagon load of barbed wire.
Sorry I'm late.
Audra?
Well, good morning, Audra. Good morning. Audra. All this work going on around this ranch, I suppose you've been out dancing the moon down.
Well, you're welcome to suppose all you like.
You know, as soon as these odd jobs are through, maybe we ought to commence riding herd on our little sister.
I'll have you know I was up at 6 o'clock this morning and picked up the plans for the orphanage for the meeting this afternoon.
With the Colonel's murdered, you don't suppose that Mrs. Ashby will change her mind about donating that land, do you?
Well, Mrs. Ashby told the committee that the children shouldn't suffer because of his death.
I'm sorry, you just came on barging in.
I want to do some talking.
Jake Kyles, you get out of here.
Not gonna take much of your time, Victoria.
Get those hats off.
And just after asking a simple favor from an old friend. Never asked the Barkleys for nothing before except to be left alone. That's the way we've been with everybody in this whole valley, up till now.
All right. What favor can we do for you?
I've been all over town. Ain't a lawyer anywheres will even touch my boy's case. They're either afraid of Ashby's name or mad at Kyles. Jarrod, he ain't afraid. He's pretty fair with them legal speeches. I'd like to hire him on. You willing?
Now, Jake, you think about the reasons those lawyers turned you down. It's probably because they don't believe your son's plea that he's innocent.
'Cause ain't a one of them will even listen to his side. Jarrod, you're my last hope. I wouldn't have asked you neither if it weren't for the fact that your daddy and me came to this valley together.
A member of my family is the prime witness against your son.
I thought of that, too. But it ain't as if he's a real member of the Barkley family.
Nick. Now, Jake, I'll try and overlook that remark. But you understand this. I'll not accept your case.
You're always yapping it up about justice. But when it comes to action, you're like all the rest of them do-gooders do nothing. I'm telling you, the real knife stickers in this town are the high and mighty mucky-mucks like the Barkleys.
Jake, that'll be enough.
Now, you heard Jarrod's answer. Don't make it any worse.
All right, you see to it he keeps his nose out of our business. And see that he don't tell any more lies about my own son.
Mr. Cowles, I don't take to anybody calling me a liar.
And I'm telling you, you're testifying against Colby makes you one.
Get out.
Get out of here, Jake, before we forget you're an old man. Now move.
Come on, Paul.
All right, let's finish breakfast.
Heath, I'm sorry for what he said.
Thanks, sis.
I'm sure if Jacob really tries, he'll find a competent lawyer.
What difference does it make?
Well, sometimes it has been known to make the difference between a verdict of guilty and innocent.
But Heath caught him red-handed.
And it's high-low, Jack, and the game, right?
Right. Good afternoon, Counselor.
Jarrod,
Clem, how are you?
fine. Good to see you. Say, I owe your brother Heath a drink for testifying at the inquest.
He's a prosecutor's dream. Thank you, sir.
Would appear so, but, you know, too bad it cost an Ashby to get rid of a Kyles.
Tell me, Clem, is it true that Jacob Kyles can't get anyone to defend his son?
Oh, I hear tell he's been asking around. But unless Corby decides to change his plea to guilty, I don't think he's going to have much luck. Why are you asking?
Oh, it's just that he finally got around to asking me.
Oh.
No, sir. Never a Kyle set foot in this shop. Them so shaggy-eared, they ought to pay double dog taxes. I ain't complaining. I wouldn't want to dull my shears on any of them. Colonel Ashby. Well, they broke the mold when they made him. It's a grand funeral. I shaved him. Quick hanging would be a community service. Set a simple black-tongued example for the rest of them. You ought to hamstring the whole crew of them. Ought to tie 'em up in a cave, clean 'em out once and for all from the land of civilized people. The only thing, hanging won't bring the colonel back. But at least he wouldn't be able to kill anybody else, that's for certain.
Nice talking to you, Slim.
Thank you, Miss Barkley. Been nice talking to you. Next.
Kyles are a menace to our community. The record shows a history of 14 individual arrests during this past year alone. Corby Kyles himself has been charged with drunkenness, destruction of private property, conspiring to defraud, assault with a deadly weapon, and now we know him to be the lowest of all human beings, a murderer. Don't you think this editorial is just a little prejudicial?
You call it prejudicial. I call it the truth.
Tell me, George, are all writers so emotional? Or is it just that lawyers are too objective?
Jarrod, I don't understand you. Your own brother is living proof of Kyle's guilt.
Oh, I'm well aware of the case against it. I just wonder if you'd print anything for it. Hello, Audra. Well, who are your little friends?
But these are some of the children whose parents were lost in the epidemic. I'm taking them over to Mrs. Bradshaw's house. There's just no room in the old orphanage. Children, why don't you go on to Mr. Perkins' store and tell him I said to give you each a licorice stick? Jarrod?
Hmm?
about the Corby-Kyles case.
What makes you say that?
Because I heard what you said to George Allison.
Oh. Well, I just don't like it when a newspaper condemns a man before he's even been tried. After all, it might be one of my clients sometime.
You're not thinking of changing your mind and taking the case.
The last thing in this world I want to do is defend Corby-Kyles. Anyway, that's nothing for you to be worried about.
Yes, it is. How do you think Mrs. Ashby's going to feel about being associated in the orphanage with us if you defend the man who murdered her husband?
Now, Audra, Corby-Kyles might be guilty, but...
Might be guilty. Heath saw him do it. That's proof enough. Jarrod, you've got to promise me you won't take the case.
I'm sorry, honey. I can't make you that promise.